Are everywhere. Oh, okay, hold on. Bugs. If I run away, they stay over there. Okay. Say fab it all.
Hello. Let's go.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're on set at the shop. Duh. And we are going to be building a swing set for the baby because we sold hers and she's angry. We're building a simple A-frame swing set with Fabitol flare, of course. I'm gonna be building some heavy-duty brackets for it. And these brackets are gonna be made out of Core 10. Another name for that is weathering steel or A588. There's different names for it, but it's a really neat steel that it has copper in it. So when it weathers, it rusts, but then it doesn't corrode. It just rusts. It gets a rust patina on it, and then it stays that way. It looks really neat. It's used in bridges. So let's go down to the shop and we'll get this thing going. And I will get out of the bugs. I don't know if you can see them crawling all over me. It is driving me crazy. I have doused myself. I even sprayed it up my nose accidentally. And they're still attacking me. They're everywhere. Go down, out of the bugs. The dog's wiping her butt down the hill, which is really weird. But okay, whatever works for you. That's Lucy. Oh my gosh, look at them all over her back. Oh, they're so bad. So, yep. I like that. We're on location. Oh my gosh, I just walked into a whole thing of they go in your eyes. Oh, it's so bad. So here's what we're building. Simple A-frame, blah, blah, blah. I will be adding something in here later. But this is the one swing here, one swing here. This is a little bit wider than normal because this swing is going to be slightly bigger than a normal swing. It's some big platform thing. And then we're putting kind of like a rope swing deal over here. So this is stretched out. This is a 12-foot beam. I should have done a glue lamb, and made a glue lamb, but it's all right. We can do it later. And then I've got a little piece that comes out further. I don't know if I'm explaining this right. Anyways, so this is what we got. What was weird is doing all these brackets right here because everything's compound angle out to here. So everything's burned out, cleaned up. These are the pieces we'll be making. Here's the 3D. They're kind of hard to see, but these are the end brackets or the leg brackets. And we got just some pieces. That's the top beam. Again, this is that end piece. I'm actually going to drill and tap this for the bracket that holds that rope swing. It's a special, like a ball thing. I don't know what the dimensions are. We'll do that later. These are the feet. The only reason I'm doing feet, I'll show you that when I do the install, when I put it together. I'll show you why. I'll walk through why I did the feet. It's actually going to help a lot with the longevity of this piece. And then, yeah, so let's get all these made. These are going to be fun. I made a bunch of tick marks and things. Actually, let me bring you one. I'll show you what I did to make it easier for me. Okay, so when I design something, I always try and put, there's two main things I'm looking for. One is when I design or build something like this, I'm looking for one, precision. I like things to kind of snap together nicely. I like parts to fit up where there's not a lot of work involved. So if I can burn out a shape, for example, if I can, instead of doing this in multiple pieces, if I can just burn out a piece or use the tools I have to make something just slide inside of the other, so much easier. I like that much more. Less work, less guesswork. I really don't have to, I've tried to set these things up so I don't have to measure that much. So I know they work. If they fit, they work. So that's one thing. The other thing I try and do is flexibility. And it's not as easy to do flexibility with precision. So what I do is, for example, like on these parts, I know this is hard to see, but there's a box here, and this is where the leg fits into. So what I did is, I know what the wood is supposed to be. I know it's supposed to be 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches square. Same with this, 3.5 inches by 5.5 inches. That's your standard dimensional lumber sizing. So in order to be flexible, I make these plates go together at a certain way that I can actually adjust without affecting the overall function of it. For example, I already measured right now, this is the 4x4. We're just about a 1/16 over on this direction, so about 3 9/16, whereas this direction, we're 3.5. So, again, I don't want to have to match mark everything to fit. Here's something I added in here. On these brackets coming down, you can see there's a slot cut out of here. And what that's for is the bolt will come through this direction, and it'll actually allow this to squeeze a little bit and actually hold tighter to the leg than it normally would. That way I don't have to worry about everything being supported off the bolts. I'll actually get some friction fit hold there. Of course, you can't do it the other way, but so that's part of my design process, is thinking about what do I want to do, how precise can I be, and then what kind of flexibility can I put in it so I don't have to mess around. And then another thing I do so I don't have to check, so these are the side plates. So these go together. There's a top and a bottom plate, and these make this, they kick out at 5 degrees, these two plates with everything in between. Anyways, I made these notches in here. And what these notches correspond to these plates where they intersect on this plate. So and again, these are made differently, so they have different heights, so I don't have to guess on that 5 degrees. I know these just touch up to the bottom plate here, and then everything fits. So that's part of the precision that I do, and then the flexibility. Everything is so. One thing that we do in our shop is we try and do everything corner to corner. So we don't fit things. Oops, we don't fit things like this. We always put some gap and put them about like that. And what that does, it allows us to have a little bit of play in how everything fits up. So that's my design process. And of course, I always overbuild things, but that's a different issue. Okay, so I recalculated the number. I used about $160 in this steel material. So this is a little bit more money than I thought. But It is scrap, so it's not too bad, although it was still usable scrap. So overall, I'd probably spend about $350, $375 on materials for this. But for something that I'm really hoping, and I think I've got it right to where this should last about, we should be able to get 10, 15 years out of this without any maintenance on it. So. All right, it's mostly done. We got it on the truck, ready to go home and get it installed. But why don't we travel by swirl? Whoa! Whoa! Okay, so we're here at the house. Let me walk you through every little aspect that I did on this. So, I cut a hole in the base. Oh, hey Tim, grab me that screw over there. Yeah. So I cut a hole in the base, and it is for
a screw.
Yep, a screw.
A giant screw. That
will go down and hold. I'll get that one. Nope, I'll get it. And it goes down just like this. Cha-ching. So I've got these carriage bolts that go up here, and I can lag screw it into here. That gives me adjustment also. If I find out it's sinking in the dirt, I can tighten these up, and that'll give plenty of strength to hold these feet down. Also, I made this pad not just for looks, but it gives more surface area so it doesn't sink as easily. Just having the feet there, it'll eventually just keep sinking and sinking and sinking. But here it gives me more surface area. That way it won't push down as hard. And this will give me adjustability if I need to. I'm not going to put those on yet until I think I need it. So, like I mentioned, I got splices here. That gives it nice and stout there. I've got 3 of them installed. If I find out I need to put some gussets here, I'll run some gussets up in the corners to give a little bit more strength to those legs. But yeah, that's it. So we're gonna install the swings and try it out. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about how much this thing cost. And so I like to kind of work about look into kind of how much it cost me, doing all the work, but then also a comparison on what it would cost if I were to, let's say, build it for someone, or if this would be a market thing or a mass-produced thing. So being a custom set, nothing super fancy, I would say on market, if someone would say, hey, will you come build that for me, and I didn't know them, I would put this at about around $2,500. Probably sounds a little pricey, but there's a few items that are unique. One of that being the anchor system and the way it anchors. It's completely adaptable and totally secure. The other being the longevity of it. The brackets are forever. I mean, you get 30, 40 years out of those brackets. The hardware, everything is high quality. It's just the time, really the time you got to put into it. That's where I would put it. Of course, if you mass produced them, it would probably be around $1,500. Come up with some kind of stamping device, something to make it a little faster. Of course, this steel is not as cheap, so that adds a little bit.
Come on, one of these one first.
Wait, it can have two.
You guys swing?
Are you so happy? No, I wanted that one first.
Yeah, let Tim have it.
Just swing.
Subscribe.
Watch more Babidol videos. Oh yes. Come on in, Patrick. So